So I want to say something about our anger course, well, overcoming anger course. Everyone knows how to get angry already. So we're doing a course on Wednesday nights called Beyond Anger, and me and Chris are just going to have a little chat about what the kind of subject matter is, because it's quite easy to misunderstand anger. So Chris, what would you say about that?
So I'd say that we need to start with a definition of what we're talking about, just so we're a little more clear.
Okay, so I think with anger, the word anger can also be translated as just straightforward aversion. And I think that's easier to understand in a way, because anger runs the gamut from just like mild irritation and mild frustration right through to murderous rage. But when we think of anger, we normally think of something quite manifest and quite strong. But actually, whenever we have a thought or the mind that thinks, no, I don't like this, that is actually aversion, also translated as anger. Just like, no, I don't like this. So it's the opposite of acceptance, where we accept everything that arises because that's arising. There's no point fighting reality, with a view to then changing it. But without that initial, no, I can't handle this, I don't want this, I don't like this. We want to, there's this saying, isn't there, that for every minute of anger we lose 60 seconds of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And anger is really this unpeaceful mind that doesn't actually get much done for us.
Well, that brings up a pretty common question I've heard from people when they ask, but don't I need anger as a motivating force to get things done?
Yeah, that's a great question. How do we redress injustices and keep the motivation going to right the wrongs, which a lot of wrongs need righting? But to answer that, I like to say that basically we don't need anger. What we need really is a very powerful mind of compassion if we want to sustain the energy needed to get things done. Anger, in fact, depletes us. It makes us it tires us out, actually, fundamentally. It makes us a bit like a leaf in the wind. We're not really in control of our thoughts. We're not really mastering our emotions, and therefore we get caught up with things that are extraneous to what we're actually trying to do. Whereas with compassion, we're very much focused on getting things done, getting things fixed, helping people, changing things. We don't need anger for that. We do need compassion.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's a different way of coming to the problem, a different sort of motivation underneath it all.
Yes.
Okay, so I shouldn't go around smashing things up, is what you're saying.
I don't know, Chris. It's kind of charming when you do. No, I think no more smashing up things.
No more smashing. Let me write that down.
Yeah, I mean, anger is actually, it is a destructive mind. It tends to be far more destructive than constructive. So we need passion. I kind of think the word compassion has the word passion in it. We need passion. We need to care about righting wrongs. But our kind of starting point has to be in a basic acceptance of reality. This is what's appearing. This is what's happening. I'm going to accept what's happening. And now I'm going to do something to change it and make it better.
Sure. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense out in the world. But how would you relate it to relationships?
Yeah, I mean, relationships are this kind of mixture of, whether you're talking about romantic relationships or friendships or family relationships, there's often a lot of attachment in those relationships. So that when frustration is kind of just waiting to happen, what is it? Attachment is premeditated resentments, is one way of explaining it. Because when people don't do the things we want them to do, if we're attached to them acting in certain ways and saying certain things and being in a certain way, then when they don't do that, we get frustrated much more quickly than we would with a stranger. So there's a lot of opportunity to get annoyed and irritated and frustrated in our closest relationships every day. But as Venerable Geshe-la says, every opportunity to get angry is also an opportunity to practice patient acceptance. So in our relationships we have a lot of opportunities to develop this calm, peaceful mind. One thing about patience is, one saying about patience is that it makes us as stable as a mountain and as deep as an ocean. So far from making us into some kind of pushover, like sometimes people think if I practice patience, people will just walk all over me. I'll be like some kind of doormat. But in reality, patience is a very strong, creative and flexible mind. And it has this makes us as stable as a mountain, as deep as an ocean. So the more patience we have, the more peaceful we are, the stronger we are, the more we can get done.
Yeah, that sounds very encouraging. And like, the first question I have is like, well, how do we learn to grow that skill?
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to learn on Wednesday nights.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we're going to look at what aversion is or what anger is. We're going to look at what patience is. We're going to look about how we can, first of all, accept and identify the anger in our own minds with a view then to reducing it through all the different methods that Buddha taught. So we're not talking about repressing or suppressing or squelching our anger. This doesn't work. We don't need to do this. What we learn is a skillful way to prevent that kind of faulty thinking that is within every angry mind from arising in the first place. And that way we stay peaceful and calm. It's not like a jack-in-the-box. You have to kind of suppress the anger when it's arisen. That's not what this course is about. It's about how to stay peaceful and calm and accepting so that we don't get angry in the first place, and then we can also bring compassion and love to every situation in our life in order to get things done, to help the world, to become a force of good. So all that's going to be, well, I'll be addressing most of those things in the next few classes on Wednesday.
Sounds like a great series.
Yeah, I think so. I actually think the world needs these teachings right now, and yeah, I think there's a lot of frustration, anger, and aversion and depression, which is kind of anger directed inwards. Unhappiness, basically. We need to learn the very important skill of making ourselves happy. And in this course, we're definitely going to learn a lot of good ways to do that. I hope you can come.
Perfect.
Join us.
Yeah, so every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. And in person, ideally, we'd love to see you. And if you can't make it in person, then of course you can always join online.
Perfect. meditationincolorado.org is the website. Great. Well, we'll see you next Wednesday.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.